Okay, so please hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and check out my Patreon page if you can afford to support me. Thank you very much. Okay, so what we want to do is create the class that we've declared here. So what I will do is just because this was a sign up class and it had this evaluate function. So instead of having to suffer, let's go to our classes and let's open that was the signup.php. I will open the containing folder as usual, copy and paste so I can duplicate this one, and instead of sign up we're going to have group. Interesting. And open it. And of course, once we add something there, we have to add it to the auto load. So let's auto add group, otherwise we'll get an error saying who be that group class you talking about. So I will change that to group and we're home and dry. The rest can remain the same because the functions can exist as they are inside this class. So we just need to modify them. So instead of create user here, create group. Like so. So we change that, create group, and create user ID. Well, we can change this to group ID, but yeah, maybe it's more descriptive that way. So let's do that. Let me select everywhere it exists, just to be sure. And then I will move a couple of steps here. Create group ID. Very nice. Okay. So here, we don't need to check. Yeah, we do need to check if this is empty. So this is fine, but we don't need to check for an email. First name, we're going to leave that one there. That one is special. We'll remove last name. Okay, so first name can't be have spaces, but we will have some spaces for our groups. That is fine. We may want a regular expression to limit what we can put here. So maybe if it's numeric, can't be a number. Okay, we'll add some more evaluations here. If not preg match, let's use a preg match as well here. Wait a minute. Okay, let's leave this be for now. We're going to refine that as we go. So there's a new database here. This is all good. Tag name. We don't need this kind of thing here, but you know what? Let's leave it be. So selector from users where tag name is equal to that. So here we're checking just to make sure the tag name does not exist. So that is good. But remember, we do not have a last name, so let's remove that. And it can't be first name. It should be group name. Let's change this one as well to group name. Okay, so pretty good. So instead of user ID, we're going to convert this into wow, there's a lot of that. Yes, so let me find every user ID here and convert that to group ID, of course. So I will be like group PD, like that, group ID. Okay, so we don't need gender, we don't need first last name, and let's convert our first to group. We will leave the UC first here, it's okay. So group, and then change that to group as well. We do not need no email, no password. Tag name will survive. We don't need no password again, no hashing required. So thank you very much, hashing algorithm. URL address, I'm going to leave that as it is, but I will remove the last name. Actually, what I will do is concatenate just a random number here. Random generate, rand from 0 to 9999, 4 digits there. Because it's not really important what the URL address is of a group per se. And then insert into users, so group ID, instead of first name, of course, we're going to have group name. We don't have no last name here, so let's make sure that is removed. And let's remove that as well. We don't need no gender. We don't need no email, no password, no... Okay, let's not get carried away there. Okay, so gender, email, password, out. So group name, that should change to group name. Tag name, tag name. Okay, this looks pretty good. Group ID, group ID. Very nice. Oh, sorry, my bad. Why did I even change this to group ID at all? Because remember here, let's go back to our database. So we do have the user ID, which we need because we need to know who is creating this group. But we also need a, what did we do here? We need a type so that we know this one is a group owned by whoever started it there. Okie dokie. So let's get back the group ID. Let's get it back to user ID. Yeah, after going through all that, just to bring it back again to user ID. User ID is like, yeah, I thought you were clever. Okay, so create group, user ID, data, user ID. Okay, so looking good. Everything here is fine, except we want to add type. So let's add type at the very end here. Type. I will duplicate this and I am going to add type. And so we duplicate that, change it to type. Now, of course, there's no type in data here, so I'm just going to delete all that and just set it to type. No, not type here, to group. There we go. Okay, so just to confirm that all these columns here do indeed exist in here, and it turns out yes, they actually do. So, but let's be clever about this and add an actual date this time. So let's do add a date so that we know when the group was created. So you can do the same date thing to the sign up page, which currently does not have that. So we can quickly go to the sign up class here and create. And right at the end here, I will put a comma and say date. But of course on this side, I need to put a convert it to a variable, and I will add date over here and do actually add a date. So let's say date, let's zoom in a little bit, YMDHIS, very nice. So I will copy this and transfer it to the group class and do exactly the same right there. Okay, so we have date. Very good. Okay, so everything is looking good. Another user already using that email. Ooh, why do we still have this? So check email. We definitely do not need this, so I shall delete with pleasure. While user ID, check for the user ID, blah blah blah. Okay, this is required. Okay, so far so good. So time to give it a test run and see what errors we get. So I'm going to just say my first group and let's hit create. And who knew? Just like that, we're done. So let's come back here to browse and see if we actually did create a group. And what do you know? We did not create a group. Very curious, isn't it? So very simple way to discover what we actually did wrong. Yes, what did we do wrong? So first of all here, let me echo my query. It's usually the query that is the problem, and I will say die right there. Die. Subscribe now or die. Okay, so back here, let's try again with my first group and create. There we have a culprit. So undefined index first name. So somehow the first name slipped through the cracks and it's still there. So let's look at line 34 and line 77. So 77 right here. Oh my god, it's right there. I couldn't see it. So group name. And let's go to 34. This is why I like errors so much, because this this error reporting right here, because it tells you exactly what line has a problem and exactly what the problem is. This way you get to, it's easier to fix things like this than it is, for example, for languages like JavaScript. Okay, so let's do another test run. And this is our query this time. So looking good, if I do say so myself. My first job. Oh, which one is the group name here? This is the one here. My first shop. Yeah, I think I give that one a thumbs up. So let's remove this line right here that's prohibiting us from saving and do another refresh. There we go. So let's check in our database. Wow, still nothing. Who would have known? Who knew? Okay, so this is serious now. So how to fix this problem? Fear not. I will do it again. And then there's a proven method of sometimes you find that you put you may have put too many inverted commas or left out one or something like this. So it says insert into user ID, or maybe this part and this part do not match. Group name. So let's count 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it doesn't look like there's a problem. So I will simply copy these guys and come right into the SQL tab, and let's see if we can get it to run over here. So Control V to paste. So I don't know why there are different colors over here suggesting that they possibly could be an error, but let's hit go. And very nice, we get an error. Very good, which will tell us exactly what is going on. So it's saying unknown column group name. Well, you don't say. Okay, let's come back here. Very silly things right there. So group name we don't actually have group name in there. So like I said, we're going to steal the first name and use it for group name. So I'm just going to say first right there. That's all I need to change. Okay, so this time, fingers crossed, I think we will get it this time. So let me save that and let's come back and let's refresh, resend. Oh, I have a good feeling about this one. So let's click browse. Ooh, there we go. So we have a user ID, we have a group, and it's of type group, and it actually has a date. Okay, so URL address, quite useless information, but it is there. And this is all we needed. So the most important thing we needed is to have an actual ID for the group, a name, and a type. Very good. We're making very good progress. So let's see how we can actually read from this group to actually display it right here.